This video is about why relationship partners who later turn out to be abusive can often seem attractive or magnetic in the early stages of a relationship. This can leave the person on the receiving end of the abuse wondering, am I attracted to abusive people? Why was I attracted to this person? Hopefully some of these ideas will help to clear that up so that you can be less hard on yourself and understand better some of the dynamics that are going on. We're going to talk about 4 key ideas in the video. Let's get into it. So the first key idea in the video is that abusive partners often come off as having 2 personality traits that are widely perceived as attractive. The first one is high confidence. The second one is high impulsivity. Now, not everybody is attracted to confidence and impulsivity, but it's very common for men and women to be attracted to someone who's high confidence, has some swagger, knows what they're doing, seems like they have a high self-worth, etc. On the spontaneity side and the impulsivity side, they can often come off as spontaneous, passionate, impulsive, breaks the rules, tries new things. And again, not everyone is attracted to that, but many people are. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who's confident is an abusive partner or that everybody who's spontaneous is an abusive partner. Not at all. Most of them are probably not. But abusive partners do tend to have these traits. So for those who are wondering, am I attracted to abusive people or why was I attracted to this person? It might not be that you're actually attracted to their negative behaviors. It could just be that abusiveness tends to also happen in the same case as these other factors that are also perceived as attractive or positive. And that brings us to the second key idea in the video, which is that being in love in the early stages of a relationship is not necessarily a great predictor of how people will act later on in the relationship. This is probably one of the hardest and most complicated ideas in the video, so I will try to do my best. The core idea is that a lot of the activities in the early phases of a relationship when people are falling in love are quite enjoyable for both people. Going to parties, going out to eat, going on dates with someone who's attractive to them, traveling, being intimate, like all of the above. These are all things that both people usually enjoy quite a bit. But those things don't tell us whether later in the relationship, the abusive person is going to be selfish or selfless, whether they're going to be caring for others or prioritize themselves, whether they're likely to be controlling, etc. People often mentally say to themselves, we are in love. Love means that people will take care of each other and take care of each other's needs in a healthy way. I see we're in love, so I predict we'll have a great, mutually beneficial, healthy relationship. What actually often happens though, is that when the abusive partner isn't in a situation where everything is fun, everything is beneficial to them, and everything is novel, and they're actually in a situation where there's a lot of more boring activities or mundane activities, or it's not new anymore, or there's a lot of hard stuff or shared responsibility, like parenting or taking care of a house or finances together, or going to visit each other's relatives, that they act in a very different way. They might act more controlling. They might act less appreciative. And the core idea is that looking at whether somebody's in love in an early stage of a relationship, while it can be very magnetic and attractive, is not a good predictor for yes or no for how that person will necessarily act later on in the relationship. And the third key idea for why abusive partners can often seem magnetic or attractive is that abusive partners can be very skilled at manipulation. Now, we've experienced the negative aspects of manipulation if you've been in an abusive relationship, but why is it that manipulation could be something that correlates with attraction? The answer is manipulative behavior can actually be used in a wide variety of contexts, including sales, including coming off as charming, including positive manipulations that make people feel good or want to do something. And even though later in the relationship, it might be that someone is experiencing more of the negative controlling and manipulating behaviors from an abusive person, can't talk today, they, in the earlier stages of a relationship, may be much more likely to experience the positive behaviors. Imagine you're on a date with the best salesperson ever or the most charming person ever, right? Someone who's a manipulator, but is doing that in a charming and funny and interesting way to make you like them. Unfortunately, those skill sets often overlap quite heavily. Now, again, I'm not saying that everybody who's charming or everybody who is a good salesperson is an abusive partner, not at all. What I am saying is that abusive people often have that skill set because that's a big part of how they go through life to get what they want. And that skill set can be used both in negative and in positive ways. So if you're attracted to an abusive partner, again, it might not be that you're attracted to these negative things, but it might be that you're attracted to charming people or you're attracted to people who are great at making others like them, which is, again, something that's totally normal. And the fourth key idea in the video is that abusive partners often wait to show the negative parts of their personality until later on in the relationship. Why? Because because they know it's going to get them in trouble. If they act controlling or abusive on the first date, they're not going to get the second date. If they act controlling or abusive on the third date, they're not going to get the fourth date. So subconsciously, they know that they're not going to act that way right away because it's going to get them in trouble. It's just like if someone were going to a job interview. What would they wear? Probably their best outfit. How would they act? Probably on their best behavior. So if you're meeting someone, they might just be on their best behavior. You might not be seeing all of the other parts of themselves. And this is one reason that abusive partners can seem very magnetic or attractive at the beginning of a relationship. If you put all of the different points in the video together, they could be a very skilled manipulator, very charming, not showing you the negative parts of their personality. They can seem just like a really interesting and confident and impulsive and spontaneous person who doesn't have a lot of flaws and is just a really interesting, engaging, lively person. And that's a normal thing to be attracted to. What it helps to keep in mind is that you're seeing someone on their best behavior and that it takes a long time to really assess who a person is and what they're like, not just on their best behavior, not just when they're doing things that are fun for them or that are interesting to them, but when they're doing things that are hard, when they're in situations with shared responsibility, when they've been with someone for a long time and it's not novel. It takes a long time to really assess who somebody is. Now again, this doesn't mean that everyone who's attractive, interesting, confident, impulsive is an abusive partner. Most of them are not, but I hope these ideas have helped you understand why you or a friend might have been attracted to an abusive partner, and that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. In fact, it could just mean that you're attracted not to negative things, but to positive things that are also present in abusive people. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a video on a related topic, and best of luck with your situation.